Part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Feel the motivation. Radiates the aspiration, applauds the legacy of the best intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly in Pasig City, no one is left behind. Be part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Feel the motivation, radiates the aspiration, applauds the legacy of the best intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly in Pasig City, no one behind. Part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Feel the motivation, radiates the aspiration, applauds the legacy of intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly in Pasig City, no one is left behind.
Pagka-klase ko ng
Part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Fields of motivation, radiates the aspiration, applauds the legacy of the best intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly in Pasig City, no one is left behind. Part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Fields of motivation, radiates the aspiration, the legacy of the best intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly in Pasig City, no one is left behind. Part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Fields of motivation, radiates the aspiration, applauds the legacy of the best intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly in Pasig City, no one is left behind. Part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices. Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic. Fields of motivation, radiates the aspiration, applauds the legacy of the best intention, as it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly, in Pasig City, no one is left behind. Be part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices.
Kasi ayaw lang pinabago yun. Pinabago mo dyan, pinalis lang natin si PH.
Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic.
SK Caravan, 10,000 na, katungkas ng Kagawan. Si SK Kagawan, 5,000.
Feel the motivation. Radiates the aspiration. Applauds the legacy of the best intention. As it is exemplified in every innovation. Truly, in Pasig City, no one is left behind.
So, ang nangyari pa lang, sa akin, walang titigil.
Be part of the SDO Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices.
Tapos, na-issuehan lang siya ng termination. Kung November 10. Now,
Have a glimpse of how each school empowers the stakeholders amidst the pandemic.
November 2 dito, mag-report na siya. Kaso, na-issuehan lang. 2. Termination of contract. Effective.
Feel the motivation.
Now, sabi naman nila,
Radiates the action. Applauds the legacy of the best intention. As it is exemplified every innovation.
Okay lang na yun na natin. President siya. Pero kasi late kasi report.
Truly, in Pasig City,
November 22 na issue.
no one is left behind.
November 2. Terminate natin contract. Ongoing rehab na ako.
Basta nasa community rehab, ba't hindi rin yun? Kasi pag pinakil mo yun, lalo mag-
Be part of Pasig City's virtual caravan of notable best practices.
or kung malala, i-rehab talaga po. Pre-termination, rehab talaga.
Have a glimpse of powers and stakeholders amidst the pandemic.
Recommendation ng ADCOP na ano. Kahit
Ang ano ni Adcook sa kanya, severe.
ay,
According to scientist, teacher, director, and author Peter Senge, sharing knowledge is not about giving people something or getting something from them. That is only valid for information sharing. Sharing knowledge occurs when people are genuine in helping one another develop new capacities for action. It is about creating learning processes. Good afternoon and welcome to the virtual caravan of notable school best practices for curriculum year 2020-2021 closing program and awarding ceremonies. Before we officially begin, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our Honorable City Mayor, Mayor Vico Soto. Good afternoon, sir. Let us all rise for the singing of a nationalistic song, followed by a prayer.
sama-sama ring mararating ang iba't ibang galaw, iisang patutunguhan. Dito, isang araw, isang kapuluan. Sasama nating abutin pinakamatayog na bituin. At ang aking tagumpay, tagumpay ng aking lahi, tagumpay ng aking lipi, ang tanging minimithi at hinahangat. Hangat ko'y tagumpay nating lahat. Hangat ko'y tagumpay nating
O God, creator of heaven and the universe, you are worthy of our praises. In you alone, we pray and submit ourselves, for we are nothing without you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness and mercy. Dear Lord, we gather here today with the intent of doing good in thy name. Guide us to the right path. May our efforts be blessed with insight, understanding, wisdom, and respect for all. May our deep faith in you give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Once again, good afternoon and welcome to the Caravan of Notable School Best Practices for calendar year 2020-2021 closing program and awarding ceremonies with the theme Schools Notable Practices, Aid for Empowering the Stakeholders Amidst the Pandemic. I am Judith Janea Aretaga from Rizal Experimental Station and Pilot School of Cottage Industries, and I will be one of your hosts in the significant activity. It has been a fruitful week for the schools in the division of Pasig City, right, Sir April?
That is right, ma'am. I am April Ibuong Galing from Eusebio High School. I will be alongside Ma'am Judith this afternoon. I think all the schools deserve a virtual applause for sharing their notable best practices with one another. Congratulations, everyone. And that is the very reason why we are here today, to recognize the schools, presenters, together with their supportive public schools district supervisors that exerted their much appreciated efforts in sharing their notable best practices last school year.
But before that, let us acknowledge our participants in this prestigious event. To do the honors, let us call the one of our reliable senior education program specialist for school management monitoring and evaluation, Ma'am Ruth Paniel de la Cruz. A virtual applause for Ma'am Ruth.
Thank you, Ma'am Judy and Sir April. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to acknowledge who are present today in this virtual caravan of notable best practices with the theme Schools Best Practices and Aid on Empowering the Stakeholders Amidst the Pandemic. So allow me to acknowledge the participants, starting off our Regional Director and OIC Undersecretary, Office of the Human Resource Organizational Development, Dr. Wilfredo E. Cabral. To our Chief of Field and Technical Assistance Division, Deputy NCR, Dr. Roger R. Morales. To our Congressman, Lone District of Pasig City, Honorable Romanti Romola. To our City Mayor, Honorable Victor Marie Hes Soto. And to our Schools Division Superintendent, who are very supportive, Ma'am Maria Eva Lu Concepcion A. Agustin. to our Assistant School Division Superintendent, Ma'am Carolina T. Rivera Sese, to our Chief for School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Victor M. Javenia, to our Chief for Curriculum and Implementation Division, Dr. Manuel A. Laguerta, to our Education Program Supervisors, Public Schools District Supervisors, SGOD officials, unit heads, school heads of 44 schools, SBM coordinators, assistant school principals, SBM principal leaders, teachers, and non-teaching personnel. On behalf of SGOD and SDO Pasig, thank you for making time in your busy schedule to join us here this afternoon. Again po, my congratulations to all of you and enjoy the rest of the day. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ma'am De La Cruz. Aside from our live Zoom participants, we are also live and streaming via the Schools Division Office of Pasig City Facebook page and via YouTube. Good afternoon to all our participants there coming from the different schools in the division. Please feel free to share the link of this event with your fellow teachers and beloved stakeholders for them to also take part and witness this significant occasion. Thank you very much.
To give the rationale of this meaningful activity, let us call the man behind this momentous event, the meticulous Chief Education Supervisor, School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Victor M. Javenia. Let us welcome him with a virtual applause.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much, Miss Judith, and of course, Sir April Buonggaling, to our City Mayor, Mayor Vico Soto, to our School Division Superintendent, Ma'am Maria Evalu Concepcion Agustin, Ma'am Carolina T. Rivera, our ASDS, and Sir Manny Laguerta, our CID Chief, and to all our PSDSS and EPSS who are present this afternoon, to our SGOD officials, Miss Ruth, and to all our principals, and SBM coordinators. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. It is my honor and privilege to present to you the rationale of this activity. So please allow me to share my screen. Of course, the school-based management, my dear friend, is a strategy to decentralize decision-making authority to the individual school site, of which devolution of authority is the fundamental concept. And I know that you are all aware of this to our school head because the strategy now in the SBM is decentralized compared before. A recent trend in education reform that stresses decision-making on the school level. In the past, the school policies were set by the state or by the central office and the division and the regional office. But now the trend is for individual schools to make their own decisions and policies. All right, so let me just refresh you in this conceptual framework of SPM. So all our programs and projects, all our activities in the schools, are in line with our vision, mission, and core values. And our target is fundamentally literate Filipino citizens. That's why all our activities, it should be planned, well planned, and it will assess, credit, evaluates, and it will also monitor, implement the structure, and so on. And we will focus on the leadership and governance in the curriculum and learning. This is more on the curriculum. And of course, resource management, one of the most important framework, one of the most important domain or dimension in the SBM, and of course accountability and continuous improvement.
Sir BJ, please present your screen. Please present your your slides.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. Wala na naman akong screen. Sorry. Okay, I will stop share.
Hindi kasi siya nag-move, sir.
Hindi po nag-move. Sorry.
Nasa first slide.
Sa first slide. Opo.
Bababa muna kami ha.
Okay. Okay, this is can you see now on my screen, the SBM conceptual framework?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So this is the SBM conceptual framework. As I was saying, this is all about leadership and governance, no? Paano ba minamanage ng school ang kanyang paaralan, the implementation of the curriculum, the management of the resources, not only the MOE, but all the resources, even donations, and accountability and continuous improvement. Paano mag-i-improve ang school, ano pa ang gagawin ng paaralan. And this is also in line with our vision, mission, and core values. This is the SBM PASB operational framework. We have 3 levels. We have the developing, the maturing, and the advanced. So level 1, that is developing. For level 2, that is maturing. And for level 3, that is advanced. So most of our schools, 43 schools, no, in SDO Pasig, no, both elementary and secondaries are all level 2 maturing. We only have 1 level 1, but eventually, no, by next year perhaps we can make them level 2 also. And we are looking forward, no, for the level 3 accreditation, which is the advanced one. Now we will evaluate, we will check, assess the documents on leadership and governance, curriculum and learning, accountability, and continuous improvement, and of course management of resources. But before that, it is also important in SBM the school development and accountability.
November, ma'am.
All right, so planning is very, very essential. So
ma'am, kayo naman Opo.
Okay. All right, may I request everyone to please mute your microphone, your mic. Thank you. So the center of this framework is of course student learning outcome. So planning is very essential. In planning, we will check, no, we will consult the external, both external and internal, no, internal stakeholders, no, and we will focus on the outcomes, the school development plan, the annual implementation plan, and so on. After we plan, we will implement the plan, no. The plan is more on the student learning outcomes also, and once we implement it, we need to evaluate that also. Implementation is not yet. We need to evaluate that, and we need to see the result. We need to review it, no, especially the report card, and then we need also to check if that is aligned with our vision and mission. So this is more an accountability framework. So planning, implementation, and evaluation is very essential for us to meet our target, no, students' learning outcomes, to improve the student learning outcomes of the school. In terms of resource management, no, the efficient, effective development of an organization's resources is the most efficient way possible. So maximize utilization of available resources. Not, as I was saying, not only the MOOE, not only the canteen fund, but even all the donations, no. Dapat we should maximize that, maximize the utilization of all available resources to achieve our organizational goals. So such as, but not of course, such resources may include tangible resources, kagaya ng facilities, even equipment, financial resource, and even information technology, labor or human resource. Those are all resources, and even ideas, no, functional and non-functional. Those are all resource management. Okay, so this is just a sample, no, in terms of how we're going to improve learning outcomes based on the SBM framework and standards. So meron tayong target. So for level 1, dapat school, no, comply with the minimum requirement for securing and managing inputs, establishing and developing structures and mechanisms, improving processes that affect instruction, no, to produce desired levels of outputs, leading to improved learning outcomes. For level 2 naman, dapat not just comply, but the schools must demonstrate. And then for level 3, school and communities maximize efforts to achieve learning outcomes. So that is our target. Using all the resources, classroom instruction, we will improve the classroom instructions, and of course the learners' performance. So ang target natin, that's why we have the presentation of a caravan of notable best practices, not only in teaching and learning, but even in all processes in the school. Ay tinitingnan natin whether it is in line with governance, no, governance, resource generation, or pwede naman na sa ano mismo sa ating curriculum. Okay, but our target is for you to have to achieve the level 3 in SBM, Kaya nung nagplano na magkaroon ng Caravan of best practices, the idea or the rationale behind that is to help our schools to get the level 3 accreditation, because you cannot able to do that if we don't have any benchmarking activities, and although this is a virtual activity, but still we presented our best practices to other schools, clusters or by clusters headed by your PSS. Naging maganda po ang ating yung ginawa nila na benchmarking sa bawat schools. All right, so that's why the objectives of this activity is to show or to present to you the best notable practices of all 44 schools in SDO Pasig, and we did that. And I would like to commend all our SBM coordinators and the school heads with the help of our PSTSS, because they presented a very good and best notable practice in their school, and I admire you so much for that. Napakaganda ng mga presentation. I do hope that even other divisions may watch the presentations of our for schools. May ina-upload sa FB ako nakikita at ang gaganda ng mga sample videos ninyo na nilagay doon. Ito po ay isang indication o indicator na tayo po, o indikasyon na tayo, kahit may pandemya tayo, may pinagdadaanan tayong pandemya at naka-work from home yung iba, at yung iba blended, yung iba naman ay distance learning tayong ginagamit, tuloy pa rin na pinapaganda pa rin natin at inaayos pa rin natin ang lahat ng mga systems and processes natin. Another objective is to encourage all our schools to share their best practices on SBM for benchmarking and of other schools. Ang ganda. And some of the principals told me that they learn a lot from the best practices of other schools. Maganda po itong naging Caravan na ito kasi nakakuha tayo ng idea kung paano dapat gawin ang mga best practices na ito. No need for you to conduct a separate research or action
Sir
research.
BJ na nag-ano?
Oh yes, ako na nga po, Ma'am Lani. Tama po kayo. Okay, para lang makita natin the best practices of the schools. Through this presentation, nakita na pwede palang ganun ang gawin. So kayo naman, improve lang natin, ilo-localize lang natin sa ating school. And of course, we will develop culture of excellence in the different principles of school-based management and in all our practices and systems and processes. Kailangan po lahat yan ay pag nakita na natin, na-improve na natin, at nakita na natin yung culture of excellence, then we can share it with other schools, and then other schools may do that also, o kung kaya pa nilang imitate pa ng mas maganda, mas mainam. So we are doing this to help our schools to improve their processes. Okay, but because the main goal of the school-based management is to improve school performance and student achievement. So ito po ang ating layunin, and it is stated in the SBM framework or guidelines. And with that, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Javenia. Truly, SBM and these notable best practices are vital to ensure learning continuity amidst this pandemic. Before we continue, may we remind our participants to please place your microphone on mute for the smooth flow of our program. Thank you very much, ma'am and sir. Dale Owens once said, "True leadership lies in guiding others to success, in ensuring that everyone is performing at their best, doing the work they are pledged to do, and doing it well." The first person to share her message to us this afternoon, let us call the officer in charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent, the high-spirited leader of SDO Pasig, Ma'am Maria Evalu Concepcion A. Agustin. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Is my audio clear?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear po.
to our regional director, at the same time the OIC USEC of BHROT, Dr. Sir Wilfredo Cabral, to our City Mayor, Honorable Vico Soto, to our Congressman, Honorable Roman Romulo, to my colleagues in the division, Ma'am Kay, Sir BJ, Sir Manny, to all our supervisors, unit heads, to our dear principals, SBM coordinators, and to all of you, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And I am really happy to see all of you and be part of the sharing of notable practices by each of our schools, and our school heads. So I have been hearing about these preparations that you've been doing for the past several weeks. And I know that whatever you will show this afternoon are all product of your hard work and labor of love. Love for our learners and love for our teachers. So you may be witnessing later on the best practices of each of our schools. And what's important really, in my mind, what's important is at the end of the day, each of our principals, each of our SBM coordinators, or each of our schools will feel empowered to act on their programs, projects, and activities to respond to the needs that arise in their schools. So we always believe in the saying that we should bloom where we are planted. The same way po, we should plan our PPAs depending on the needs of our schools and based on the standards that you have learned, standards set in our SPM. So with all the technical assistance given to you by our lead by the lead office in SBM in the division office, which is the School Governance and Operations Division, headed by Dr. Victor Javenia, with all the assistance given to you by our SGOD, with all the things that you have learned and with all the decisions that you have made on which to prioritize, on which concern are you going to address. So these are now the culmination of all your hard work. So I would like to congratulate all of you. And then it is my hope that this best practices will be sustained. So it's not just for presentation, it's not just for benchmarking by other schools, but it will be sustained and it will be improved. The scope will become wider, parang ganun po, so that you can better respond to the needs of your learners, of your teachers, and of the school. And focusing on the team, it's more of involving your stakeholders and empowering them also. Because really, we cannot do all these things by ourselves. No, we welcome and we need all the help that we can get from our stakeholders. And that is how we should work. And that is the direction that we are looking into, to empower more, to invite more, to build more relationships with to establish more relationship with our external stakeholders. So once again, congratulations to all of you. And next year, if we will have this activity once again, if we will do this over again next year, I hope na you will be moving from one place to another. Meaning to say, we keep on improving. Sabi nga, improve the shining moments. Don't let them pass you by. So today is your shining moment. But after today, you will not stop, but you keep on improving. Okay, so congratulations once again to all of you and magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Agustin. From one great leader to another, also to share his message to us is the Chief of the Field and Technical Assistance Division of the Department of Education, National Capital Region, Dr. Roger R. Moralios. May we have Sir Vijay to read his message for us.
Yes, yes, thank you so much, Miss Judith. So, allow me to read to you the message of our regional chief of the FTAD, Dr. Moralios. The present educational landscape drastically changes the direction of the school system, particularly strategies that would entail stakeholders' involvement and support. The new normal enables school managers to become proactive and adaptive elective ways. Not just approach to be able to carry out initiatives for the very purpose of improving school climate, teachers' efficacy, and ultimately learning outcomes. Should we stop and be defeated in this battle against pandemic? I think you will agree with me that it should be the other way around. We need collaboration. All together, we can conquer and unshackle ourselves from the global menace caused by infectious coronavirus. Amid governance and collegial decision makings to better address issues, gaps, and concerns confronting implementation of programs, activities, and projects. But efforts and aims have been adopted in the right time, context, and intended purpose to attain quality education. Obviously, this reflects a commendable recognition. Therefore, let me congratulate Pasig City Division, of course, the schools, school heads, not just because you manifested the responsibility and accountability expected of you, but also taking the risk, challenges, and constraints to be able to deliver best practices that can stand even in the aftermath of this pandemic. I salute to the leadership of the SDS and her team. God bless everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Morales.
Thank you very much for that steering message, Dr. Moralios, and of course, thank you very much, Dr. Javenia.
We are fortunate to have here with us our devoted leaders in the regional office and central office as well. Also to share his message, our regional director and the officer in charge, Office of the Undersecretary for Human Resource and Organizational Development. Let us all welcome Dr. Wilfredo E. Cabral. A virtual applause for our regional director.
On behalf of the men and women of the Department of Education National Capital Region, we would like to extend our felicitation and commendations to every school head, school leaders, teacher leaders, and the school communities on bringing great accomplishments during the school year 2020-2021. You have spent all dedicated service, passion, and unshakable commitment to sustain programs and projects that immensely contributed to achieving some, if not most, of the regional targets. We are constantly assured of every stakeholder's dedication to promote continuous improvement because our learners rely much on every opportunity to succeed in the future. There is no doubt that the Division of City Schools Pasig has shown integrity in the exercise of their functions. Thank you for never shortchanging the agency and our learners and their communities in the quest to deliver results. Empowering schools to explore open possibilities, multiple platforms and spaces reflects a system that is thriving and healthy. You have shown all that drive for action and the heart for learner-driven, outcome-oriented, and values-rich impressive programs. Salute to never veering away from operational effectiveness as the core innovation constant. It is an inspiring work during this pandemic. Let this craftsmanship be a mark of quality for everyone, for the schools as the center of thriving community that is the true mark of leadership, thriving in innovative culture, responding to the adversities brought by the pandemic. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat for bringing life into our mission and making the future more than better and believably reachable. This is the mark of excellence in service. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cabral. You are always welcome here in the division of Pasig. Let us be inspired by the words of the writer, consultant, entrepreneur, educator, and journalist Peter Drucker. He said, leadership is lifting a person's performance to a higher standard, the building of a personality beyond its normal limitations. Pasig City is truly blessed for having supportive leaders, especially in the field of education, who helped SDO Pasig to perform to a higher standard amidst the pandemic. To give his message, it is my honor to present to you one of our encouraging leaders in Pasig, our Congressman, Honorable Roman T. Romulo. Let us welcome him with our virtual applause.
Sa bumubuo po ng education community natin dito sa lungsod ng Pasig, ang ating Schools Divisions Office, ang bawat elementary, high school at senior high school dito sa ating lungsod, syempre po sa ating mga principal, sa ating mga admin staff, sa ating mga teaching, non-teaching personnel, mga estudyante at magulang na kasama po natin ngayon araw, isang magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Nakakatuwa naman po na ngayon araw ay bibigyan po ng parangal ng ating Schools Divisions Office, ng ating DepEd, ang mga best practices na nakita po nilang ginagawa ng ating mga iba-ibang paaralan, especially during this time of COVID-19 pandemic. Alam natin lahat na nakasanayan po natin talaga ay face-to-face classes, pero dahil importante at mas importante talaga po sa atin yung safety po, kalusugan po ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino, ay ang ginawa po natin sa ating mga paaralan ay distance learning or blended learning. At alam po, mahirap po yung at maraming sakripisyo dinaanan po yung ating mga paaral, mga teaching and non-teaching personnel po natin dito. Pero dahil po sa mga sakripisyo po na ginawa po ng ating education community dito sa lungsod ng Pasig, nagkaroon po ng mga tinatawag na best practices. At itong best practices po na ito ay gusto po ng Department of Education, gusto po ng ating Schools Divisions Office ay mapakita po, hindi lang dito sa ating lungsod, pero sa buong Pilipinas. At syempre po kung talagang mamarapati naman po sa buong mundo. At syempre po itong best practice hindi lang para ipakita, pero para ito ay ma-replicate rin, hindi lang sa ating lungsod, pero sa ibang paaralan, kahit saan man yung paaralan po na ito. Kaya mauuna na po ako mag-congratulate sa ating mga iba-ibang paaralan. Alam natin na dahil sa mga sakripisyo po ninyo, napagpatuloy ang edukasyon sa ating lungsod, dahil po sa sakripisyo po ninyo, ang ating kabataang Pasigenyo ay tuloy-tuloy ang edukasyon nila, at dahil sa sakripisyo po ninyo ay maaari po ay itong mga notable or best practices po na ito ay ma-replicate sa ibang mga DepEd and private schools po natin. Muli po, congratulations, God bless po, and stay safe po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, Congressman Romulo. Also with us this morning is our passionate leader, known for his values and works not only in Pasig but in entire country or world, if I may say. Since the beginning of the pandemic, he ensured that Pasigueño learners will continue to learn. For his message, let us call our beloved City Mayor, Honorable Victor Maria Regis and Soto. Let us greet him with our virtual applause.
Maraming salamat po. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Kamusta po kayo? Kay RD Cabral, Dr. Moralios, syempre sa mga kasama natin dito sa SDO ng Pasig, sa pamumuno ni Ma'am Evalu. Hindi ko rin po babanggitin ng lahat, pati ang mga principals natin, mga teachers, other personnel, including non-teaching personnel po natin. Of course, to Congressman Roman Romulo and all of our stakeholders in the field of education and the education community here in Pasig City, ang aking mainit na pagbati sa inyong lahat. First of all, congratulations and I really appreciate that our division is having this caravan of notable best practices. March 2020, pinatawag po kami ni Pangulo sa Malacanang at ang mainit na debate ng mga panahon na yon ay kung isususpende ba ang klase dahil sa COVID-19. Noong mga panahon na yon, konti pa lang ang bilang ng COVID-19. Pagkatapos noon, nagkaroon ng ECQ, nagsimula ang school year 2020 to 2021. Ang dami nagbago sa buhay natin at isa sa mga nagbago ay pinagbawal ang face-to-face classes sa ating sa buong bansa, ano? At sa marami pang ibang bahagi ng mundo. Ngayon, ang tanong ng panahon na yon, paano tayo mag-a-adjust para makasiguro na na hindi matigil ang pag-aaral ng ating mga kabataan. At yun yung isa sa pinaka-importanteng gear. Siyempre yung response natin patungkol sa healthcare mismo, yung sa serbisyong pangkalusugan, siyempre importante rin po yun. Pero bukod po ron, ang pinaka-importanting tinugunan natin o pinagtuunan natin ng pansin ay ang larangan ng edukasyon. At ginawa natin ang lahat para hindi matigil ang pag-aaral ng mga kabataan at mga batang Pasigenyo sa panahon ng pandemya. Napakahirap po talaga. At nagtulungan po tayo mula dun sa tablets hanggang dun sa video lesson production at marami pang iba. At ang mga paaralan natin ng 44 schools, ang dami nating nakitang magagandang practice sa ating mga paaralan. Ang importante at nakita natin na highlight sa panahon ng pandemya, hindi lang sa larangan ng edukasyon, kundi pati sa ibang larangan, ay napaka-importante na nag-exchange tayo ng best practices. Nag-share tayo sa isa't isa ng best practice at pag may nakita tayong best practice sa ibang lugar, ay gayahin natin. Hindi naman po masama mangopya, lalo na para sa atin sa gobyerno. Hindi naman po ito exam sa paaralan na bawal mangopya. Dapat po ay nagkokopyahan tayo ng best practice. LGU to LGU man yan, school to school man yan, barangay to barangay man yan. Kailangan pag may nakikita tayong best practice, gayahin po natin. At pag tayo mismo ay may best practice din, i-share natin sa iba. Kaya natutuwa po ako na meron tayong caravan o meron tayong event katulad nito. Kahit na virtual lang po muna ulit sa ngayon, ay magandang balita naman ay siguro sa susunod ay pwede na yung face-to-face. Basta't patuloy na bumaba ang bilang ng kaso. Ngayon po ay isa na lang pong babanggitin ko ay yung dahil nga po National Vaccine Days din po ngayon, magtulungan pa tayo para mas marami pa tayong mabakunahan. Yung sa 12 to 17 years old, actually halos lahat po ng mga naka-enroll sa ating mga pampublikong paaralan, 12 to 17 years old ay nabakunahan na rin naman. Pero magtulungan tayo, talagang suyurin natin ang bawat lugar sa Pasig para sooner rather than later ay makabalik na tayo sa face-to-face classes. Ang inyong lokal na pamahalaan ay nandito lang po bilang katulong po ninyo, nakasuporta po sa inyo sa Department of Education, sa lahat ng stakeholders ng ating mga paaralan para tuloy-tuloy nating isulong ang dekalidad na edukasyon para sa mga Pasigenyo, sa mga kabataang Pasigenyo, edukasyon at serbisyo sa edukasyon na walang batang may iwan. Maraming salamat. Congratulations sa lahat ng ating stakeholders, lalo na sa ating mga principal, teachers at mga staff sa mga paaralan. Mabuhay po kayo at mabuhay ang batang Pasigenyo. God bless po.
Maraming salamat po sa ating magiting na punong lungsod, kagalang-galang Dr. Marehis and Soto. So pwede daw magkopyahan itong ating ginagawang sharing of notable best practices kagaya ng ginagawa ng ating iba't ibang LGU ngayong pandemic. Again, a virtual applause for our Pasig City leaders, Congressman Romanti Romulo and Mayor Victor Marehis and Soto. Now, let us witness a presentation on our SDO's best practices prepared by the previous school-based management coordinator of Pinagbuhatan Elementary School and concurrent officer in charge, Senior Education Program Specialist for Planning and Research, Ma'am Lovely Rolane B. Cruz. Let us all sit back, relax, and enjoy.
has immensely changed our lives. Novel coronavirus, quarantine, pandemic. It has driven dramatic shifts in our lives and in education system. Will we ever be the same again? The schools in Pasig City maximize all resources, revolutionize ways to ensure that no children is left behind. Let us look into SDO Pasig City's Caravan of Notable Schools Best Practices.
Cluster 1, headed by Dr. Rodolfo B. Manuel. Pasig Elementary School, Principal Mrs. Emelita T. Medina. Sagad Elementary School, Principal Miss Marites R. Bora. Liberato Damian Elementary School, Principal Mrs. Maribel D. Vocal. Sagad High School, OIC Miss Nenette M. Peñaranza. Cluster 2, headed by Dr. Edna D. Camaral. Nagpayong Elementary School, Principal Dr. Rodel H. Opeg. Ilugin Elementary School, Principal is Telva C. Ford. Pinagbuhatan Elementary School, Principal Dr. Wilma P. Soriano. Nagpayok High School, Principal Mrs. Dorna C. Rodriguez. Nagpayok High School, Principal Cluster 3, headed by Miss Karen D. Villanueva. Bambang Elementary School, Principal Mrs. Monina J. Cruz.
Isang alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman.
Dr. Sixto Antonio Elementary School, Principal Miss Lani M. Garcia.
Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat, Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela.
Kalawaan Elementary School, Principal Mrs. Corazon C. Puca. Pinagbuhatan High School, Principal Mrs. Cecilia G. Regala. Cluster 4, headed by Dr. Gomer O. Ago. San Joaquin Calawaan High School, Principal Mr. Lazaro P. Torres. Elementary School. Principal, Mrs. Esther C. Amigo. Buting Elementary School. Principal, Mr. Joel M. Armas. Buting Senior High School. Principal, Ms. Amparo G. Silvera. Cluster 5, headed by Dr. Marieta M. Limbo. Tanyogan Elementary School. Principal, Ms. Junette S. Bernice. San Miguel Elementary School. Principal, Ms. Corazon B. Natividad. Palatiu Elementary School. Principal, Mrs. Jean T. Manayos. Rizal High School. Principal, Mr. Gilbert O. Inocencio.
Cluster 6, headed by Dr. Rolando C. Orango Elementary School. Principal, Ms. Annalie F. Aquino. Pineda Elementary School. Principal, Ms. Sara N. Javier. Bagong Ilog Elementary School. Principal, Mr. Gregorio P. De Los Santos. Capitolio High School. Principal, Mr. Dennis C. Pala. May Bunga Elementary School. Principal, Mr. Christopher S. Santos. Cluster 7, headed by Dr. Cesar S. Gonzalez. Upong Pasig National High School, OIC, Mrs. Lisa C. Caiboy. F. Legazpi Elementary School. Principal, Ms. Melvina S. Tarsena. Rosario Elementary School. Principal, Ms. Edita A. Tol. Rep C. Principal, Mrs. Maria Victoria M. Cuervo. Eusebio High School. Principal, Ms. Annalie M. Macasina. Cluster 8, headed by Dr. Susan L. Covarrubias. Santa Lucia High School, Principal, Mr. Richard E. Santos. Pasig City Science High School, Principal, Mr. Charlie O. Pagalae. De Castro Elementary School, Principal, Mrs. Marife D. Villadier. Maybunga Elementary School Annex, Principal, Mrs. Helen C. Sagni. Cluster 9, headed by Mrs. Diana Marie C. Daffy. San Lorenzo Ruiz Elementary School, Principal, Mrs. Renita R. Aulan. San Lorenzo Ruiz High School, OIC, Mrs. Maricris O. Correlia. Manggahan Elementary School, Principal, Mrs. Emma S. Macasil. Napico Elementary School, Principal, Mr. Manuel A. Rosaldo Jr. Manggahan High School, Principal, Mrs. Nicolette P. Vega. Cluster 10, headed by Dr. Sofia J. Pablo. Santolan Elementary School, Principal, Ms. Josephine Z. Macaulay. Santolan High School, Principal, Mr. Reginaldo A. Gray. De La Paz High School, Principal, Mr. Winifredo P. Ranes. De La Paz Elementary School, Principal, Ms. Gina G. Lupa. Santo Niño Elementary School, Principal, Ms. Analu N. Madrigal.
The goal is for the school to develop a resilient learning system using evidence-based and need-based information through notable best practices. Truly, no children will left behind. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, sulong, edukalidad.
Indeed, in SDO Pasig, with our shared best practices, no learner will be left behind. Thank you, Ma'am Lovely, for that presentation.
It is now time for you to harvest the fruits of your labor, as we have now come to the highlight of this event, the awarding of certificates to our school SBM coordinators, school heads as SBM presenters, and public school district supervisor as process observers.
This symbolic awarding will be witnessed, of course, by our respected city officials, Mayor Victor Mareis and Soto, and Congressman Roman P. Romulo. Also with our Department of Education officials from the central and regional offices, Dr. Wilfredo E. Cabral and Dr. Roger R. Moralios. And from our very own Schools Division Office, we have Ma'am Maria Evalu Concepcion E. Agustin, Ma'am Carolina T. Rivera, Dr. Victor M. Javenia, and Dr. Manuel A. Laguerta.
We will do this by cluster. We will award first our hardworking school SBM coordinators. Let me read to you the citation of the certificate. Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, National Capital Region, School Division of Pasig City, Caruncho Avenue, San Nicolas, Pasig City. This certificate of recognition is presented to SBM coordinators in grateful commendation of her or his invaluable service as school SBM coordinator during the Caravan of Notable Schools Best Practices for the curriculum year 2021. With the theme, School Notable Practices, Aid for Empowering the Stakeholders Amidst the Pandemic, held at the School Division Office of Pasig City on November 22 to 26, 2021 via Zoom. Given this 29th day of November 2021 at the Schools Division Office of Pasig City, A. Caruncho Avenue, San Nicolas, Pasig City. Signed by, of course, Maria Evalu Concepcion A. Agustin, our dearest School Division Superintendent.
After recognizing our diligent school SBM coordinators, we will also recognize our dedicated school heads as they served as presenters in our week-long caravan of notable best practices. Here is the citation on the certificate. Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, National Capital Region, Schools Division of Pasig City, Caruncho Avenue, San Nicolas, Pasig City. This certificate of recognition is presented to, in grateful commendation of his or her invaluable services as presenter during the Caravan of Notable Schools Best Practices Curriculum Year 2020-2021 with the theme Schools Notable Best Practices, an Aid of Empowering the Stakeholders Amidst the Pandemic, held on the Schools Division Office of Pasig City on November 22 to 26, 2021 via Zoom. Given this 29th day of November 2021 at the Schools Division Office of Pasig City, A. Caruncho Avenue, San Nicolas, Pasig City. Signed, Maria Evalu Concepcion A. Agustin, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Officer in Charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent.
And last, but certainly not the least, we will also show our appreciation to our supportive public school district supervisors for providing technical assistance to the different schools that they oversee. They will also be receiving their certificate with the citation, Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, National Capital Region, Schools Division of Pasig. This certificate of recognition is presented to the public schools district supervisors in grateful commendation of his or her invaluable services as process observer during the Caravan of Notable Schools Best Practices for the calendar year 2021. With the theme, Schools Notable Practice, Aid for Empowering the Stakeholders Amidst the Pandemic, held on the Schools Division Office of Pasig City on November 22 to 26, 2021, via Zoom. Given this 29th day of November 2021 at the Schools Division Office of Pasig City, A. Caruncho Avenue, San Nicolas, Pasig City, signed by our Schools Division Superintendent, Ms. Maria Evalu Concepcion A. Agustin.
Let us begin with Cluster 1. This certificate of recognition is presented to Jeremiah Ann R. Mensurado, SBM Coordinator, Pasig Elementary School.
Sir Randy.
Maria Teresa O. Cruz, SBM Coordinator, Liberato Damian Elementary School. Duningning A. Enriquez, SBM Coordinator, Sagad Elementary School. Maria Cynthia P. Badana, SBM Coordinator, Sagad High School. Certificate of recognition is also presented to Emelita T. Medina, School Head, Pasig Elementary School. Maribel Gocalin, School Head, Liberato Damian Elementary School. Marites R. Boras, School Head, Sagad Elementary School. Nenet Peñaranda, School Head, Sagad High School. Of course, being supervised by their Public Schools District Supervisor, Sir Rodolfo B. Manuel of Cluster 1.
Congratulations, Cluster 1. And now let us have Cluster 2. Certificate of recognition is presented to Ms. Welma H. Alisasi, SBM Coordinator, Nagpayong Elementary School. Shirley H. Amorada, SBM Coordinator, Nagpayong High School. Celia B. Alan, SBM Coordinator, Ilugan Elementary School. Lovely Rolaine B. Cruz, SBM Coordinator, Pinaguhatan Elementary School. Dr. Ruben H. Opeña, School Head, Nagpayong Elementary School. Dr. Lorna C. Rodriguez, School Head, Nagpayong High School. Dr. Thelma C. Torrio, School Head, Ilugin Elementary School. Dr. Wilma P. Soriano, School Head, Pinaguhatan Elementary School. Dr. Edna D. Camarao, Public School District Supervisor, Cluster 2. Of course, she headed all the schools under the Cluster 2.
Congratulations to the schools of Cluster 2 and also to our PSDS. Up next is Cluster 3. This certificate of recognition is presented to Irene F. Florentino, SBM Coordinator, Pambang Elementary School. Israelita T. Pagkiyasan, SBM Coordinator, Dr. Sixto Antonio Elementary School. Joanna Jane B. Nicabera, SBM Coordinator, Kalawaan Elementary School. Rochelle D. Larana, SBM Coordinator, Pinaguhatan High School. Also, Certificate of Recognition is awarded to Monina J. Cruz, School Head, Pambang Elementary School. Danny M. Garcia, School Head, Dr. Sixto Antonio Elementary School. Corazon C. Puta, School Head, Kalawaan Elementary School. Cecilia G. Regala, School Head, Pinaguhatan High School. Course under the supervision of their Public Schools District Supervisor, Karen B. Villanueva of Cluster 3.
Congratulations, Cluster 3. Alright, so let's now proceed with Cluster 4. Certificate of Recognition is presented to Roberta T. Tuando, SBM Coordinator sa Making Kalawaan High School. Peter Bautista, SBM Coordinator, San Joaquin Elementary School. Erminda S. Espana, SBM Coordinator, Buting Elementary School. Vida M. Urahay, SBM Coordinator, Buting Senior High School. Lazaro P. Torres Jr., School Head, San Joaquin Kalawaan High School. Esther C. Amigo, School Head, San Joaquin Elementary School. Joel M. Armas, School Head, Buting Elementary School. Maria Amparo G. Sevilla, School Head, Buting Senior High School. And of course, headed by the Public School District Supervisor of Cluster 4, Dr. Gomer O. Agro.
Congratulations, Cluster 4. We are halfway the presentation of certificate. Again, have Cluster 5. This certificate of recognition is presented to Rosel E. Ponte, SBM Coordinator, Canyogan Elementary School. Bernadette E. Magat, SBM Coordinator, San Miguel Elementary School. Roy A. Molanda, SBM Coordinator, Palati Elementary School. Annalyn E.L. Ang, SBM Coordinator, Izal High School. Dr. Jeanette S. Permites, School Head, Canyogan Elementary School. Corazon B. Natividad, School Head, San Miguel Elementary School. Jean P. Manayan, School Head, Palati Elementary School. Dr. Gilbert O. Inocencio, School Head, Rizal High School.
Ano po, start na tayo ma'am? Tulood na lang.
Of course, under the supervision of their Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Marietta M. Limbo of Cluster 5.
So congratulations, Cluster 5. And now let's move on with Cluster 6. Certificate of Recognition is presented to Dorabel P. Peralta, SBM Coordinator of Urambo Elementary School. Sheila Marie B. Pascual, SBM Coordinator, Pineda Elementary School. Another certificate of recognition for Ms. Janet P. Hamet, SBM Coordinator, Bagong Ilog Elementary School. Melanie V. Songwan, SBM Coordinator, Capitolio High School. Marlene R. Tano, SBM Coordinator, Maybunga Elementary School. Diosdado B. Manuba, School Head, Orambo Elementary School. Dr. Sara D. Javier, School Head, Pineda Elementary School. Gregorio P. De Los Santos, School Head of Bagong Ilog Elementary School. Dennis T. Alex, School Head of Capitolio High School. Christopher S. Santos, School Head, Maybunga Elementary School. Of course, under the supervision of Dr. Rolando C. Villan, Public Schools District Supervisor, Cluster 6.
Congratulations to the schools in Cluster 6. Let us have now our very own Cluster 7. This certificate of recognition is presented to Gemma E. Buenafe, SBM Coordinator from National High School. Jillian E. Sarmiento, SBM Coordinator, F. Legazpi Memorial School. Michelle L. Mercado, SBM Coordinator, Rosario Elementary School. Nora G. Balines, SBM Coordinator, Reps. And Mr. Arnel R. Asuncion, SBM Coordinator of Eusebio High School. Also, certificate of recognition is presented to our presenters, Liza C. Caigoy, School Head of Ugong Pasig National High School. Melvina S. Tarsena, School Head, F. Legazpi Memorial School. Editha A. Tolop, School Head, Rosario Elementary School. Maria Victoria M. Cuervo, School Head, Reps. Last but not the least, Annalie M. Macasinag, School Head of Eusebio High School. Course under the supervision of our Public Schools District Supervisor for Cluster 7, Dr. Cesar S. Gonzalez.
Once again, congratulations, Cluster 7. And now let's move on with Cluster 8. Certificate of recognition is presented to Lisette G. Caruz, SBM Coordinator, Santa Lucia High School. Joseph D. L. Monson, SBM Coordinator, Pasig City Science High School. Sharon B. Lanorio, SBM Coordinator, De Castro Elementary School. Joanne M. Bala, SBM Coordinator, Maybunga Elementary School. Richard T. Santos, School Head, Santa Lucia High School. Charlie O. Pababaer, School Head of Pasig City Science High School. Marife V. Villadiego, School Head, De Castro Elementary School. Annalie F. Aquino, School Head, Maybunga Elementary School. Course under the supervision of Dr. Susan L. Covarrubias, Public School District Supervisor, Cluster 8.
Congratulations to the schools in Cluster 8 and of course to their PSDS. Now let us have Cluster 9. This certificate of recognition is presented to Rehobita C. Julian, SBM Coordinator, San Lorenzo Ruiz Elementary School. Christopher J. Cruz, SBM Coordinator, San Lorenzo Ruiz Senior High School. Hazel C. Sexon, SBM Coordinator, Manggahan High School. Ivy A. Angeles, SBM Coordinator, Manggahan Elementary School. Maria Catherine R. Marie, SBM Coordinator, Napico Elementary School. The certificate of recognition is also presented to our presenter, Regina R. Albay, School Head, San Lorenzo Ruiz Elementary School. Maricris O. Morillo, School Head, San Lorenzo Ruiz Senior High School. Net P. Vega, School Head, Manggahan High School. Dr. Emma S. Makasiray, School Head, Manggahan Elementary School. Manuel A. Rosaldo Jr., School Head, Napico Elementary School. Of course, with the guidance and technical assistance of their public schools district supervisor, Ma'am Diana Marie P. Dagni of Cluster 9.
Congratulations once again to Cluster 9. And now let's move on with Cluster 10. Certificate of recognition is presented to Elizabeth D. Mendoza, SBM Coordinator, Santolan Elementary School. Maria Pilita M. Evangelista, SBM Coordinator, Santolan High School. Nova T. Maglente, SBM Coordinator of De La Paz High School. Abigail C. Cabrasawan, SBM Coordinator, De La Paz Elementary School. Eva T. Tenoria, SBM Coordinator of Santo Niño Elementary School. Josephine Z. Macawile, School Head, Santolan Elementary School. Elinaldo A. Reyes, School Head, Santolan High School. Winifredo B. Ranes, School Head, De La Paz High School. Gina G. Luba, School Head, De La Paz Elementary School. Ana Lu N. Madrigal, School Head, Santo Niño Elementary School. And of course, headed by Dr. Sofia J. Papio, Public Schools District Supervisor of Cluster 10.
Congratulations, Cluster 10 and Ma'am Papio, of course. Once again, a virtual applause to all school SBM coordinators, school heads, and public schools district supervisors of SD Pasig. Congratulations!
Thank you very much, Mayor Victor Maria Rey N. Soto and Congressman Roman E. Romulo, Dr. Wilfredo E. Cabral, Dr. Roger R. Morales, Ma'am Maria Eva Concepcion A. Agustin, Ma'am Carolina T. Rivera, Dr. Victor M. Javenia, and Dr. Manuel A. Laguerre.
Thank you very much, ma'am and sir. At this point, to share her reflection, let us call the proactive school head of Pasig Elementary School and also the president of the Pasig City Elementary School Principals Association, Ma'am Ita P. Medina. Let us give her a virtual round of applause.
Okay, so good afternoon to everyone. Pasensya na kasi hindi nag-ano yung aking gadget. Well, anyway, so on behalf of PASESPA, with all the school heads of elementary school, we would like to extend our sincerest congratulations to SGOD of Pasig and of course the division of Pasig as a whole for this activity, recognizing the efforts of all SBM coordinators as well as the efforts of the principal in presenting their notable practices. So sabi nga, pwedeng magkopyahan. And in a way of benchmarking, we really learn from each other. So salute to the group, especially to Ruth, to Ma'am Ruth de la Cruz, Sir Ernest, and of course Sir BJ for the brilliant ideas and creativity in bringing out this program to all schools. So to Ma'am Eva Lu, Ma'am Kay, Sir Manny, the SDO Pasig, mabuhay tayong lahat at talaga namang nagagandahan ang mga paaralan ng Pasig because of this innovations and best practices. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Medina, for that heartfelt reflection. Also, to share his reflection, let us call the innovative principal of Rizal High School, who is also the president of the Association of Secondary School Principals. A virtual applause for Dr. Gilbert O. Inocencio.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The secondary schools in the SDO Pasig City wish to congratulate all the schools and great leaders of our division. We recognize the strong leadership of our top management officials led by Mrs. Maria Evalo Concepcion A. Agustin, our SDS, together with Ma'am Kay, our ASDS, Sir VJ and Sir Manny, the division chiefs of the SCOD and CID respectively. Our PSDS and EPS, Ma'am Ruth, of course, for spearheading the activity with the assistance of all the TWG group. Thank you so much for this opportunity. The Caravan of Notable Best Practices inspired all schools, elementary and secondary, to showcase what they got in their respective schools. Though the preparations and demands of the Caravan were somehow taxing, still, the 16 secondary schools were able to send and submit their documents on time. This event created a different glow in the eyes of everyone concerned because they were able to flaunt to the world what the schools can offer. This endeavor enabled the schools to strive for more innovation and programs that will help the students to excel and become successful individuals once they leave the institution. With this activity, we were also able to give more to the rest of the community. Capturing all the creative ideas and innovations about the presentations of best practices in the schools, we came up with some remarkable definitions of best practices that really showcase how the SBM works uniquely and differently in schools. Evident that best practices are continuous improvement, reinventing the wheel, and betterment of systems and school processes, this can also be referred to as a collective engagement of all the stakeholders, and the said practices are research-based. We do understand the complexity from simple to very complex and the challenge of doing the trial and error. Doing work out better, faster, and more efficiently with fewer problems and mistakes. Best practices are framework for success and minimization for failure. Whatever your definitions are, everybody would agree with me in its simplest way. Best practices are the best way to do things in school. Establishing your own best practices for your own area of specialization is an important part of making everything work smoothly and efficiently. Best practices can keep evolving as new and better solutions are found or evolved from better awareness, new technology, or simply different ways of looking at things. In times of pandemic, we've seen how creative, resilient, and effective our schools are in terms of managing resources and leading all the stakeholders in coping with the demands of this challenging school system. Truly, our school heads are always on top of every situation, saan mang lugar tayo mapunta, anuman ang panahon, basta open sa isa't isa, may clear visions and guided instructions, sama-sama, siguradong kayang-kaya. Sa pagkakataong ito, ibinabalik po namin ang pasasalamat sa SDO top management officials for letting us experience the beauty of this engagement with our fellow school heads in the division. Special recognition we are offering to the SGOD division with Ma'am Ruth as the lead proponent of this activity with the school heads and the SBM coordinators. The spirit of sharing, caring, collaboration, and learning are truly felt in this week-long activity. One thing we have realized about the activity, not only one or two or even three can be best. The best can be best. All the 44 schools in the SDO Pasig are best, great, at may pagmamalaki mo talaga sa ibang division. The common denominator is the SBM ideals are present and working in each schools. We thank all the school heads for embracing and practicing the SBM principles in our school. We can proudly say and affirm na ang sarap at ang sayang maging school heads dito sa Lungsod Pasig. Why? Because while the SDO Pasig top management officials lead, the school principals are exhibiting good communication, collaboration, and partnership within and among themselves together with their stakeholders. And that is the true essence of how the SBM works for the school. Wala nang madamot in sharing good governance. Wala na rin tayong maririnig na ako lang ang magaling. Wala na rin tayong mapipinpoint na siya lang ang malakas. Because in Pasig, buhay na buhay ang school-based management. I would like to end my reflection with a saying popularized by the great author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. He quoted the importance of begin with the end in mind. Whatever plans and promise you would like your school to be, always see things ahead of you. Anticipate, be great, work nicely with your people, share your ideals and aspirations, and be great leaders and managers of your school. All of these things are found in the SBM features, which we are currently doing right now. I say, carry on, i-continue mo lang, be open, and I'm sure, anuman ang gusto mong mangyari sa school nyo, whether you call it a happy school, environmentally friendly school, great school, whatever it is, embrace mo lang si SBM, definitely, your dreams for your schools will come true. Again, congratulations my fellow school heads. You presented your schools very well. And I guess all of us here deserve for another level of SBM practice. Good afternoon everyone, and mabuhay tayong lahat.
Sama-sama, siguradong kayang-kaya. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Inocencio ng Rizal High School. Finally, to give his closing remarks, let us call our dependable leader. We already heard from him earlier as we begin the program. Might as well hear from him again as we end. Our Chief Education Supervisor, School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Victor M. Javena. Let us greet him with our virtual applause.
Yes, thank you once again, Sir April and Sir Judith. And I'm listening to the reflection of Ma'am Emmy and Sir Gilbert. No, thank you so much for the commendation. No, this is not more on closing statement or closing remarks, but this is a thankful message or thank you message. I mean, to all our school heads, no, to our 44 school heads.
Sa ating week 2 na 3 and 4 weeks. Ito lang po talaga, 7 lang ako.
Okay. 7 lang ba kayo, ma'am? Sige. Anyways, thank you so much, no, to our 44 elementary and secondary school heads sa pagtugon po ninyo dito sa ating request, no, for a notable presentation of your best notable practice in your school. Ang dami po nating natutuhan. And I would like also to thank our 10 PSTSs for guiding and helping our schools, no, especially in the presentation and preparation of your notable best practices. At syempre po, hindi naman po natin ito magagawa kung wala tayong mga teachers, mga SBM coordinators na talaga namang kumilos para dito sa ating mga coordinator nitong notable best practice. Maraming salamat din po sa inyo, no, at binigyan niyo po ng katuparan at ng buhay itong dati ay pangarap lang namin, no, pangarap po ng division ng ating division na noon ay pinaplano pa lang namin na dapat may ganito tayong activity, dapat maibigay natin sa school, pero ito na po iyon. At looking forward na po tayo, moving forward na po tayo, we will release a memorandum naman for our SBM level of practice validation naman po. In March po iyan. So ito po, this is one of our preparations, no, for SBM level of practice. So susunod-sunod rin na po natin yan At by next year na po naman, pero maglalabas na po tayo ng memorandum para naman po dito. At maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikiisa. Ma'am Evalu and Ma'am Kane, Sir Manny, thank you for your support. No, indeed, we cannot able to do this without your support. No, particularly lalo dito po sa mga ginagawa nating mga milestones for our schools. No, marami po tayong susunod sa December 3 naman ay awarding naman natin ng outstanding ng ating DRR ng Brigada Eskwela, GPP, Guled sa Paaralan Program, at saka DRRM level of practice naman po ang ating ibibigay sa December 3. So marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat at salamat po sa inyong pakikiisa. I would like also to congratulate and thank Miss Ruth De La Cruz and Miss Jeanette Mose for heading leading this activity. No, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Dr. Javenia. We have now come to the conclusion of our event. Again, we would like to congratulate all the school heads, the school-based management coordinators, and the schools in the division of Pasig City that shared their best practices in the recent challenging school year.
Also, we are conveying our appreciation to all our public schools district supervisor. And lastly, we are expressing our gratitude to the people behind this event for making this possible amidst this new normal. Our technical working group, thank you very much.
And I am Judith Janea Aretaga from Rizal Experimental Station in Pilot School of Cottage Industries.
And I am April A. Buongaling from Eusebio High School. That concludes the Caravan of Notable Best Practices for Curriculum Year 2020-2021. Good day, everyone. Be safe and see you next time.
Congratulations,
everyone. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations, thank you, Ma'am Evalu. Okay, Sir Manny, Doc Cesar, and all the PSPSS, school heads, maraming salamat po.